Hello, so today is Sunday, March 30th, 2025. For those of you who are new here, I have mild cerebral palsy, ADHD, inattentive ADHD, major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder. I am currently seeing a therapist once a week on Saturdays. I'm currently unmedicated. I stopped taking my antidepressants and ADHD meds a couple months ago. There's a couple of reasons for that. One being that I hated the way they made me feel. I've been through so many ADHD medications and antidepressants, and I've reviewed a bunch of them on my channel. That's the reason, one of the reasons I started this channel is so that I could track my progress and see if any of these medications actually made me feel better. There were a couple of medications that I think helped, but they made me gain weight. Some of them, like I had an allergic reaction to one of them. I think it was Wellbutrin. Stimulants. I've tried stimulants and non-stimulant medications. With the stimulants, I hated that, if I forgot to take it one day, I really, really felt it, and I was lethargic and moody and depressed, and I had zero energy for that entire day just because I forgot to take it for like a day or two, and if I ever ran out and my provider for whatever reason hadn't sent in the refill or I couldn't get a hold of them, it was seriously a living nightmare to have to go for a couple of days without the stimulant medication. Um, and so there's just a whole host of reasons why I decided to just come off medication altogether. But now I've been on spring break for a week since the 22nd of March was my last day. I work at a school. Um, as a school-based SLP, and we have 2 weeks off for spring break. And I brought a bunch of like different like files, student files, and things that I needed to bring with me because I have reports and tons of things that I have to catch up on because during the day as a school-based SLP, so much of my time is taken up by IEP meetings or having back-to-back sessions, and I don't have time to sit there and do tie up the loose ends, finish up reports, and do everything else that comes with the job. So I always do this thing where I bring home student files and I think to myself, I'm going to get started on this report. I'm going to do this over the weekend. And I never end up doing it. I cannot, for the life of me, be productive on my days off. And I hate it. And like this past week, I don't want to say that it's been entirely unproductive because I've taken my son for like his annual checkup. Then the next day we went and did his routine lab work, and then he said his tooth was hurting, so he went to the dentist, and I did some of that. But other than that, we have been binge watching The Flash on Netflix. Our sleep schedule's messed up. We've been going to sleep at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and obviously that messed up my circadian rhythm, and I think it messes with my mood. It makes me even more lethargic. It makes it even more difficult for me to want to do anything. And so I bought some melatonin gummies that we'll be getting here hopefully today so that I can try to get my sleep schedule back on track because I only have one more week of vacation left, and I've just done nothing, and I hate that I can't will myself to like do things that I need to do. And I was talking to my therapist about it because I see her once a week on Saturdays because when you work 9 to 5 full-time job and then come home in the evening and you're in graduate school and there's just no time to do anything during the week, so I have to schedule my therapist appointments on Saturdays, so virtually, right, via Zoom. So I was telling her about how I hate how I can't be productive on my days off. And she was just telling me not to be so hard on myself because I need the downtime and I'm like burnt out, and my brain knows that it's my time to just kind of relax. But I'm like, yeah, but that just stresses me out more in the long run because I'm perpetually behind on reports and paperworks and things that I just don't have time to do during the regular workday. And I don't know. I don't know. I just hate this feeling that I can't. I hate how I can't will myself to be productive when I actually have time off, when I should be using that time to catch up, but I just don't. Um, and speaking of therapy, my therapist said something yesterday that caught me off guard. Like, she's an older lady. She specializes on somatic sensory therapy. And I've been working with her for a couple months now, and then she just out of nowhere asked me if I've ever had crushes, if I ever think about like moving on and, dating someone. And so she knows that my son's dad and I have been separated for like almost 10 years, and we get along pretty well now. We co-parent, and it's like, I don't know why she asked me that. I mean, I feel like I've been so focused on trying to improve my mental health and trying to survive with a full time job and being a graduate student in the evening and spend time with my son that it's like there's really no time. I don't have the time or the energy to devote to try to meet somebody new. But um, also, it's hard because I'm almost 35, and so I've been alone for a while. Not that I haven't had people who I've had at least like one or two guys that I can think of that have tried to, I guess, get more than friendly with me. Um, and I just, I feel like I'm almost 35. I don't drive. I live with my parents. And, and just my priority right now, I guess, is will I ever be able to drive? Will I ever be able to be independent and not have to rely on my parents for rides or to have a place to live, even though I've been paying a good chunk of the rent? I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm in a place, and I don't know if I ever will be in a place where I feel like I'm ready to start dating again. And then dating with a disability, with like all of these mental health struggles and my physical disability, which is cerebral palsy, which like I think makes things even harder. Uh, my last relationship with my son's dad, he we met when I was 17, so we've known each other for over half of our lives now, and I'm still pretty close with him. He has a girlfriend, and we co-parent, and we're pretty good friends. But we're not like romantically involved, but it was a type of relationship where it's like he took the place of my parents, and it's weird to say that, but it's like all of my codependence and interdependence, like all that I like rely on my parents, right? For like rides, and they even do the cooking. Not that I can't cook, I can cook very basic things, but because it's like eight of us living here in this house, because my sister and my brother-in-law and my nephew and my son, and we're all also here. The kitchen is almost always busy, and it's always either like usually it's my mom or my dad doing the cooking. So I guess I really haven't had a need to cook for myself. Um, and when I can, I just don't have the time or energy to put into it, and I just order out, or order, for delivery. Um, but anyway, so when we were together, he like was the one that drove me places, and I very much depended on him for a lot of the things that I depend on my parents for still, even at this age. I'm almost 35, and I don't want that. I feel like if I were to try to jump into a relationship at this point, it would just be the exact same thing. Where it's like maybe I would leave my parents' house, but then I would be super dependent again on this other person, and I don't want that. And I feel like it's taking me so long to get to a place where I feel like I'm confident in my own skin and that I'm independent, that I can fend for myself, that I don't necessarily need to depend on another human being. And I feel like when and if I ever get to that point, maybe then I can think about dating again. But I'm getting older, and it just doesn't seem like I'm getting any closer to that than I was 5 years ago. Well, that's not entirely true. I started working full time 2 years ago, and my income has substantially increased since then because I'm working as an SLP. And I think that once I graduate, um, once I finish my master's degree, then I'm going to be able to make more money. But again, other things that like driving and the fact that I don't even feel like a full grown adult, even though I'm a mom and responsible for another human being. Um, and dating with a disability is also just more complicated. So yeah, that's my whole spiel on dating and why I haven't and why I'm probably going to be single for a while now. So, um, what else? I don't know. I think that I I digress, and my ADHD brain doesn't help with that. So this video was kind of all over the place. So I do apologize for that. That this is just kind of a life and mental health update in general. I guess I have not been feeling my best, and I am hoping that I can get my sleep schedule back on track, and that I can get something productive done, and so I don't constantly feel the need to. I don't know. I'm just perpetually behind on everything, and I just can't stop beating myself up over it, and I hate it. And yeah, that is all for now.